This is a carburetor removal. We're going to start, we'll pull the vacuum hose off. Loosen the distributor a little bit so you can get to that back nut. I'm going to use an 8mm to pull off the accelerator cable, and you turn clockwise and then your accelerator cable comes out and you pull your bottle nut off. Then you're going to go and you're going to get your socket on your wrench and you're going to start loosening the carburetor to where it's loose, and you want to get your nut off with a washer here. So you're going to have a nut and a washer off like this. And then you're going to go to the back of the carburetor, and that's where the distributor cap gets removed, and it makes it easier to get back there. And you're going to do the same thing back there. You're going to take it off, loosen it. Okay, now once you get the back one removed, you'll have a washer and a nut here. You're going to pull the choke wire off. Some of these have a fuel cutoff valve, may have another wire on, you may have to pull that off. And then you want to pull your gas line, which is coming in from the fuel pump, off. You should be able to just twist it. And then your carburetor comes off with the gasket. We're going to do a fresh carburetor installation. Make sure you have a good gasket, a fresh one. Put it on the carburetor. Move your accelerator cable out of the way. Drop the carburetor down. You're going to get your nut and washers front and back on. You may want to leave the front one loose to get to that back one because it's kind of tight. See, I have the carburetor up on an angle to get this rear one on, and then you just get it tightened on hand tight. Cut. Now you're going to put the front one on. You might want to lift the carburetor a little bit just to get up underneath there, and then you just kind of spin it by hand with your fingers till you feel the nut going on, and you spin it till it gets snug. Now you want to tighten these up, and you don't want to over tighten because you'll pull the studs. So you want to snug them here, go to the back one, go up underneath. Get it snug, come back to this one, snug it, and then go back here, give it one more, and that's it. That's the carburetor's tightened up. This carburetor isn't staying on this car, but just to show you, because this has a fuel cutoff valve, and the carburetor that typically goes on this car didn't have a fuel cutoff valve. So we're going to run a wire, which is only going to be a temporary wire because the carburetor is coming back off. So you have to run from really the hot side of the coil or the hot side of your choke wire, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to plug into the choke wire right here. The choke's going to go on here. Now the choke is getting hot juice from the coil, so this will stay hot, and then I'm going to run this over around the carburetor to the fuel cutoff valve. Now that's going to give us our juice to the fuel cutoff valve. So now we're going to hook up the gas line. If you're using German gas line, you really don't need clamps. That German gas line really fits really nice. I'm going to take the bottle nut, put it in. I'm going to take the throttle cable, pull it down, and I'm going to put it through that bottle nut. Okay, like so. You want to make sure that this is off so you're not pulling on it, and just get it nice and snug, and then you're going to tighten the little 8mm nut that holds the throttle cable in. And you want to hold that down with a wrench while you're holding it and tighten. Okay. Then you're going to put your distributor cap on, hook up your vacuum hose. Let's get that off here. Hook up your vacuum hose. If you're not running any other vacuum lines and you have vacuum hoses that are not plugged, you want to make sure you plug those lines. because you'll get a vacuum leak and the carburetor will not idle. What we're going to do is we're going to pour a little bit of gas down the throat of that carburetor, because it'll take a little time for gas to build up into the carburetor to get it running on the initial start. So if I put a little primer down it, it will fire up and it'll pump the fuel up quicker. Okay, so we're pouring the gas in. Now we're going to fire up the engine to see how this carburetor is functioning. Choke is on, so the car is idling with the choke on. It sounds pretty good at this point, so we're just going to let it completely warm up, and the choke will kick all the way off, and then we'll see how it works. Alright, you can see the choke is completely kicked off now. The car's idling perfect. It's got good response, it's got good acceleration. So this is a really good carburetor we built. This is an H30-31 carburetor, which is for single port, or with an adapter you can use it for a dual port. The car seems to be idling pretty good right now from the initial bench adjustment, but here is your idle screw, the big one on the top, and you turn that clockwise to lower the idle, counterclockwise to raise the idle. Idle pretty good right now, so I'm not going to touch it. Air and fuel mixture screw is the small one under the idle. Use a smaller screwdriver. Same thing. Clockwise will drop the idle. Counterclockwise will raise it. You initially want to turn it in so the car starts to run rough, starts to lower the idle, then back it out to the highest RPM reach, and then turn it in back in a quarter turn. This one seems to be really good. There's no hesitation. Right on the money. So we got lucky on a bench adjustment on this one. Now if you buy one of our carburetors from Type B Dub, those are the only adjustments that are necessary, and we will give you instructions. We have tech support. So anytime that you need any advice, we can advise you on this, but you shouldn't need any other adjustments but that.